Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George, or all George. So happy Saturday. Let's talk about Ripple CTO confirming that he's going private. That XRP is going private. And 1000x pump is near. What's that about? And let's talk about this new Bitcoin pattern and what's going on with SHIB. SHIB is going up, so let's talk about all these things and more. So, welcome, guys. See, overall market cap actually went up. We're at 1.09, and yesterday we were at 1.08 trillion, and this is despite the fact that Bitcoin has not moved. Bitcoin is taking a breather, right? Hovering around 23.4, but you can see today a lot of greens. Doge up. Look at SHIB. SHIB up 20%. But how come XRP isn't up 1000x yet? Well, let me get to that in a little bit. But you have a lot of good movers today, a lot of green. So slow recovery overall. That's fantastic. Okay. But what is this? What is this tweet about? Okay. The CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz, says, I'm taking XRP private at 420, funding secured. So does this really mean that XRP is going to go from 41 cents to $420, which will give it a multi-trillion market cap in the making? The answer is no. No. This is a joke in response to Elon's previous tweet in 2018 saying he was going to take Tesla private at 420, funding secured. And Elon was sued by the SEC. He was sued and he was found not guilty. So again, this is good because it is proving that the SEC can't just do whatever they want, okay? And just declare everything is illegal, everything is security. They just do everything. So good thing Elon won this case. Basically, this sets the precedence that you can tweet, doesn't mean you can send out bad tweets, but doesn't mean that you are declaring, I don't know, some kind of fraud or manipulation or some kind of pump and dump. Sometimes people just tweet. Okay, so if Elon is found not guilty of tweeting this, well then others feel safe that they could tweet stuff like this. So, in case you're wondering, yes, this is a joke. This is not for real. XRP Army, I saw, was cheering the live chats like, I told you guys, no, XRP is not going private. And it doesn't even make sense. Ripple itself is a centralized company, but XRP ledger, XRP tokens, right? Decentralized. Well, supposed to be. So it doesn't even make much sense to take it private. Okay, anyways, I want to lead off with that. So let's get on with more serious business. Let's talk about Bitcoin and let's talk about what's going on with SHIB. Well, Bitcoin right now, as you can see, drawdown from all-time high. Previous times, we had like 80-something%, then 70-something%. This time around, we hit about 77% drawdown, and now we're recovery mode, right? And you could see that trend line, right? Basically, whenever Bitcoin hits that trend line, which is the bottom indicator, it tends to have a pretty good recovery afterwards, right? So we are definitely recovering up from bottom. And the number of addresses are skyrocketing. So people are buying and holding Bitcoin despite the crypto winter we just went through. The number of addresses with at least one Bitcoin is over 1 million. 1 million. If you are part of that 1 million, congratulations. It's not an easy thing to do. People making six figures all day long, every year. You tell them to pull out 23,000 to buy Bitcoin. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. So congratulations for those of you guys that have accomplished this. But of course, once you get to 1 Bitcoin, what's the goal? 2 Bitcoins, 3 Bitcoins, 5 Bitcoins, and you just continue onwards, right? But this is a new pattern. We've been looking at a lot at 2018, 2019 coming up for bottom. But if you look at this, this was when Bitcoin started rallying end of 2020. Okay, and you could see back then Bitcoin was around 10,000-ish. 10,000-ish. It pumped up to about 13, 14. Stood there for a little bit, and then it just, boom, kept going, right? And if you look at what has happened now, us finding bottom around 15,000. Now we're back up to 23,000, kind of holding there, right? Bitcoin looks like it's repeating the same pattern, getting ready for the next leg up. So, pretty exciting. Very, very exciting. Of course, you have other patterns here. In 2015, Bitcoin formed a bull pennant before it went up. In 2019, 2020, what I just showed you guys, that was this. This was zoomed in, but if you zoom out, what Bitcoin did was a bull flag, and then it went up to the moon. And then right now, we're in that same zone. We're in a bull flag zone, right? So it's just looking good. It's just looking good. Despite the macro conditions, and I know so many of us pay attention to it, and it's important to pay attention to it. But here's the amazing thing. Despite the macro conditions we just went through, Bitcoin is pretty much still following the same pattern as before. Having this drawdown, right? The time at that bottom, I guess, level, right? And then now recovering up, I mean, and getting to the next halving event. If you look at previous cycles versus now, we're mimicking it almost exactly, despite the horrible macro condition. That should show you how strong Bitcoin is. It's kind of ignoring everything. And then, of course, you have stuff like this showing oversold territory and Bitcoin now rocketing back upwards, right? Just like all the previous times when Bitcoin become oversold and you flip back above, this is what happens. Good stuff. Good stuff overall. So, yeah, Bitcoin, even though right now has not moved up much, right? 23.4. We came back down a little bit from 24.2. That's okay. This is zoomed in like that. When you zoom out and you zoom out, you realize, yeah, we're making a good recovery upwards. We're nearing this next resistance. We will shatter it. And when we do, we'll be back in the 30s in no time, right? But you got to be patient. What's another week or two, right? But in the meantime, alts are recovering up, and we have so many patterns that we're noticing right now that shows that Bitcoin is about to do what it did in 2019, 2020, and 2016, 2017, when it was recovering from bottom during those two times too. So, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. All right, now let's talk a little bit about SHIB. A lot of you guys are SHIB fans. It's climbing up. It's climbing up so much it may be in the top 10 soon. What is happening here? Well, there's a couple things. A lot of enthusiasm over Shibarium, which is SHIB's layer 2. So think about that. No longer a meme coin, really, when they're coming out their own layer 2 to scale dApps within their ecosystem that's on top of Ethereum. But you have massive amount of burning that is supposed to be coming. So 3 trillion SHIB transferred to some mysterious wallet after Kusama confirms massive burn. So Shibarium is right around the corner, this layer 2, but to celebrate it, there's a massive burn that will happen. The number, we don't know. Okay, it could be hundreds of millions. It could be tens of millions. It could be billions. We don't know at this point. But there's a lot of people excited about this massive burn that's coming, right? And with Shibarium, SHIB will be burned also. Okay, so as more people use Shibarium, the more SHIB will be burned. So a lot of people are very excited about that as well. Not only that, you have whales that's withdrawing SHIB from exchanges like Binance. Here's 60 million withdrawn for no apparent reason, but usually data like this is bullish because that means it's not going to be traded, right? Usually when you withdraw it from exchange, it's going to, say, a cold wallet or something. So that means there's less and less that's circulating to be traded. So that's also pretty positive. And then lastly, you have the secondary token from SHIB called Bone that is starting to get exchange listings. Okay, so SHIB actually has 3 different tokens. You have SHIB, Bone, and Leash. And the teams is trying to make it so that there's more use case for Bone and Leash, while SHIB being the main token, right? But now you're starting to see traction on the other ones too. So overall, this is what's going on. A lot of enthusiasm over Shibarium, which is coming out soon. Enthusiasm over massive burning with Shibarium and pre-Shibarium. And you have exchange listings. This is why it's going up. And plus, SHIB has been pretty stagnant while the other L1s and L2s have been going up. So it's getting its turn now. It's getting its turn. And then speaking of burning, right? Look at ETH burning. ETH burning is increasing, now at negative 9,000 ETH. That's a lot. Since the merge 142 days ago till now, there has been basically 0 new ETH hitting the market. And now we're having decreased ETH because of the burning. So now we have about minus 9,000 ETH, and there is no more new ETH hitting the market. This is what burning can do, right? Versus had Ethereum not moved to proof of stake, we would have 1.7 more million ETH in the market circulating. We're talking about difference between 1.7 million ETH and minus 9,000 ETH. That's a huge, huge difference. You do the math, right? But also, I want to look at this real quick. Overall TVL, this is all the value locked in, all the major chains. This is for all the DeFi and liquidity providers and yield providers and all that stuff, right? Ethereum is still leading the way around 60%, which is why they're the biggest. Then you have some others. I'm going to ignore Tron altogether because I don't trust them at all, and it makes no sense that they're this high with only 15 protocols. So I don't even consider them being number 2. I'm just going to go straight down to BSC, which is at number 2, which has 5 billion in liquidity. Then you have Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, Optimism, Phantom, Chronos, right? These you guys have heard of before, some of the major L1s, L2s. A lot of the L2s are getting a lot of liquidity, like Optimism, which has been doing really well recently. Phantom also doing really well recently. Arbitrum, if they had a token, they would be doing really well recently, right? And then you also have some others. They're non-EVM. For example, people didn't know Chronos and Osmosis and Kava. These guys are actually within Cosmos ecosystem. So if you actually sort it by Cosmos, Cosmos actually has quite a bit too. They're just not labeled under Cosmos, right? So Cosmos also recently has been doing pretty well. So I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of these L1s start going up or L1s, L2s start going up out of the blue. It's because you still have massive amount of DeFi projects and people utilizing them, and they're increasing the liquidity in them, which in that sense gets people more excited, and that's why they go up. So it's not a coincidence, right? It'll be interesting if Shibarium comes out and then it'll be listed in here. But Shibarium is EVM compatible, so it's probably be under the Ethereum ecosystem. But if it was broken out, it'll be interesting to see whether or not they grow by leaps and bounds. All right, and then lastly, a lot of people now get on me. It's like, George, why don't you talk about Luna? Why don't you talk about Luna Classic? They're going up, they're skyrocketing, and they have all this burns and this and that, right? It's pretty obvious why I don't talk about them, because I got burned so much and I don't believe in anything they're doing anymore. But I just thought, hey, for fun, let's take a look at the burning and see if it made any difference, because there are a lot of articles like this saying another massive burn by the community. Right? And Binance is burning and everyone's burning. So is it really having an effect on the 6 trillion Luna Classic tokens that was minted due to the depeg of UST? Well, looking at this, considering everything that they have burned so far, it's only 0.5% of the overall supply. So did it make a big difference? The answer is no. And to burn 10 billion Luna Classic, it would take approximately 78 years. So whatever burning that has been happening has not done much at all in terms of removing the 6 trillion that was added. It may change, but I thought I'd just take a look just to be sure I'm not missing out on anything. But with that said, it is quite amazing that Luna Classic is still holding at 1 billion in market cap overall. All right. That's pretty much it. Still waiting for XRP to go to $420 though. Let's do some Q&A. Look at that. Market cap is turning green. Bitcoin dominance has fallen to 41.5%. Haven't seen that figure for a while now. Old Saucy, welcome. Or good morning. Fed needs to implement a fiat burn. That would be amazing. That would be amazing if, you know, the Fed is trying to reduce its balance sheet, right? But rather than try to sell off the bonds that they hold, not bonds, but junk bonds that they hold and I don't know what else they hold, you know, rather than try to sell it, they just like burn it, like physically just burn it or make it disappear. That would be crazy, but that's never going to happen. All right, scrolling here. A lot of SHIB fans. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Shibarium. Right? It is now even pumping even more, 24%. Are you going to DD the gas token for Shibarium? What's DD? I don't even get what that means. Let's see here. There are a lot of SHIB fans in here. All right, I'm still scrolling here. Pan says, some say this is not time for altcoins yet. Do you agree? No, I don't agree. A lot of altcoins have come up quite a lot. And despite that, they're still 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10x away from their previous highs. It's a good time to be stocking up. It was better a month ago, 2 months ago, all of like the second half of 2022, but I don't think you have to wait. Reasonable top for BTC and ETH next bull run. Reasonable. Conservatively, I think Bitcoin's top conservatively will be like 150. And by then, ETH, I don't even know. Maybe 15,000. This is conservative numbers. It could be much higher than that, but previously, you know, many people made predictions ETH could hit as high as 30,000 and Bitcoin being 250,000, which is still within a realm of possibility. But I would say conservatively, those are what I'm guessing right now. Corey's Adventures. I hope you check out BTC's new NFT function. They're called inscriptions and work with Segwit, Taproot, actually stored on chain unlike others. Sounds interesting. I'll take a look. Looks like Luxo's mainnet is finally getting released. I mean, we've been waiting for what, 3 years for that? I hope it's amazing. I'll keep my eye on it once it gets released. George, my friend is putting 80% of his paycheck every week into crypto. Do you think it's huge risk? Well, it depends. If he's making like $1 million and putting 800,000 into it, he could survive fine with 200,000. That's fine. It doesn't really matter what the percentage is. It matters if you could actually survive outside of your investments. Okay. So whatever money you're putting in investment, first of all, you only put in what you could afford to lose. Meaning if it went to zero, it's not going to affect you. You're not going to lose your house over it. You're not going to lose your car. You're not going to be paying nonstop interest on your credit card bills, right? So if you can survive doing that, then whatever you have left over, you can invest, then that's the way to do it, right? So it doesn't really matter if it's 80% or 50% or 10%. Whatever you're comfortable with, everyone is different. Everyone's situation is different. If my bag is 99% vet, would you call me crazy? No, but it shows you how much you believe in it. But I would say it's probably wise to diversify if that was really the case. Where's Kyrie going? I don't know. I don't know. Kyrie, he's a head case. Probably go to the Lakers, but I don't know if it's going to help the Lakers win. He's probably going to disrupt them even more. But maybe LeBron can keep him in check. King, okay, I'm not going to pronounce that name, but thank you for that. Is there any leverage good? I have a friend that's trying to convince me 2 to 3 leverage is fairly safe. It's fairly safe, yes, but you could also lose massive amount. I mean, you're just moving 3x times, right? So Bitcoin goes down, let's say 5%, you're down 15%. Bitcoin goes down 10%, you're down 30%. It could go very fast. Your chance of liquidation is probably low. It has to fall quite tremendously for that to happen, but it happens all the time. People always think it's safe, and they get liquidated. Even on 5x leverage, I've been liquidated on 5x multiple times, more times than I care to share. And that's just with 5x leverage. 3x, probably less, but still. You're taking a risk. Just know that. You're taking a huge risk. To profit and accumulate BTC, is it smarter, more in BTC or alts right now? There's no right or wrong answer. Depends on what you're holding, what you believe in. You could split it 50-50. I would say, my old saying was 50-25-25 in terms of portfolio diversification. That's still good. 50% in Bitcoin, 25% in big caps, 25% in small caps. My first crypto was Singularity. Now it's up. I feel like I have a money printer. I love crypto. Kate, weren't you like all bearish the other day? I remember you said something that was really bearish the other day. I don't know what, but congratulations. George, you ever go buy SHIB? Yeah, I had it before. I don't believe I have it anymore, but Shibarium is an exciting thing. I have it in my DCA portfolio. But, Shibarium, SHIB, as much as people make fun of SHIB, I've talked to many people that have just, that come up to me randomly, right? And they just tell me they have a whole bunch of SHIB. SHIB is what got them in the game, right? Because when SHIB was FOMO, everyone's getting in, right? But afterwards, they stayed in the game. That's the thing, and they started learning. So SHIB, despite all the negativity, brought a ton of people into space, and now they're in the space, they're learning and they're growing, and you can't fault them for that. And plus, SHIB is trying to make themselves a non-meme coin. The fact that they have a DEX that will be pretty useful after Shibarium, because the gas fee goes down quite a lot. Plus, they're going to have the metaverse. They already have a mobile game. I mean, they're working on other things too. So they're really trying to make themselves just like, L2, really. Like Optimism or Arbitrum, Immutable X, Polygon. That's exactly what they're doing. And they're not far away from Polygon. Polygon is only 3 billion higher than Shibarium. I mean, SHIB. Okay, Kate. Okay. I got it. The thing is, despite the alts having a tremendous recovery so far, for example, Solana up, 75%, and Polygon up 38%, and Avalanche up 55%, right? It seems good. But these guys still have to go anywhere from like 7 to 10x just to get back to its previous high. So just put that into perspective. Even if you're buying a big cap right now, it's 7x from here just to get to previous highs. And then once we get there, we know it will go higher than that. From that previous high, it could go up another 5 to 10x. So that literally, we're talking about like 100x almost, right? So a lot of people are always looking for like the smaller plays, the newer plays, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just keep in mind, even the well-known established projects, the big boys, the big caps, they still have such tremendous upside to them. Even Ethereum, even Bitcoin, as big as Bitcoin is, there's a 10x upside to Bitcoin in the next bull run to 230,000, 250,000. That's possible, right? So to think that, it's already too late and then things are so stagnant or things are so big and we're not going to go up and we need to find all these new gems. No, you don't need to. Just stick with what is there already. And then, of course, if there's new promising plays, you add them in there. But still, so much left on the table still. Will you DCA some bone now? No, probably not. I would still stick with SHIB. And SHIB is the only one that's going to be burned, as far as I know. What is the best coin to stake? You can stake. I mean, most of them allow staking. There's no one best coin to stake. Whatever you have. Daniel just woke up. Got a lively crowd today, over 4,000. I don't know if you guys are all tuning in because you think XRP is going to hit 420 or because of SHIB or just in general. We have a lot of good movers today, right? Slowly but surely we're moving higher, trending higher, and, and pretty soon we could see this with Bitcoin, and then we will definitely see more gains coming up. Do you know the format of TV show is a panel show, audience? I don't know if there's an audience. I got a preview of like what each day looks like, and it sounds really interesting. And there'll be special guest appearances that I can't talk about. But it sounds exciting. I'm still trying to figure out how I should dress. Is it too late to buy Singularity on that? AI plays, I think, throughout this year as more and more integration happens with ChatGPT, and Microsoft is already doing that. They integrated with their Teams product, which can automatically take notes and schedule meetings and all this stuff already. It's already happening. Once ChatGPT starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger within Microsoft's ecosystem, and you really see its potential, I think these AI plays can do really well in the crypto space too. Especially if there's some kind of notion of some kind of data sharing or using storage, it will be absolutely huge. Can I voice Caroline and SBS Ventures? No, you cannot, because I'm not having another one. Oh, that would be funny if I wore an XRP Army shirt on the show. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Overall, today's not a bad day. We got a lot of good movement with several altcoins. We got this news, even though you may think this is not crypto related. Well, it kind of is, because now Gensler got another big blow, and now they can't just go after everyone left and right because they think tweets are bad or fraudulent or whatever, right? So this actually is a pretty good thing for crypto. There's 2 losses in a row, and who knows? Who knows? Maybe a third loss for the SEC is coming when they declare, or Ripple declares they win the case, right? But in the meantime, Bitcoin is still on a path, a recovery path that has followed previously, so that's good. So a lot of great things happening, guys. Roni, I just talked about SHIB. You're going to have to rewind, all right? Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. And in case you're wondering about this 420 tweet, got a little bit more information for you right now.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.